Hi. In today's lecture, we will discuss about self-referential structures. As you know, structures in C programming language are used to combine dissimilar data types into a single unit so that you can create complex custom data types so that this data type will be having members of different data types. For example, if you create a student structure, and let's say this student structure is having two members, two components. One is the roll number of the student and the second is the name of the student. Then you can create a custom data type, namely student, which contains these two members. Then once you create an object out of this data type, or if you declare a variable which is of type the student, then you can access this members one by one by using a dot operator. Or if you are creating a pointer to this data type, then you can access these members by using the arrow operator. So it will be student, if you create a variable student1, then it will be accessed as student1 dot roll number, student1 dot name. If you create it as a pointer to student, so student1, if student1 is a pointer to this structure, then student1 point arrow roll number, etc. For example, in this case, this is how we create a structure, struct test. Then these are the members. For example, in this case, we have two members in this structure. One is an integer I, and the second one is a character j. So if you create a variable out of this, for example, you create it as struct test1, then you can access this as test1.i and test1.j. Test1.i will be accessed as an integer and j will be accessed as a character. Coming to self-referential structures are those structures in which one or more pointers to the structure of the same type. So a self-referential structure is something like this. There is something additional to this, that is, it contains one or more pointers as a member of the structure such that it is pointing to the same type, it is pointing to the same structure. For example, consider this structure, struct self. It has the same set of members I and j. I is an integer and j is a character. Then another entry what is there in the structure is a pointer ptr, which is pointing to the same structure, struct self star ptr. We usually create a pointer to integer as int star ptr, to a character as character star ptr. In the same way, to create a pointer to this structure data type, this is my custom data type struct self. So in order to create a pointer to this structure, I create it like this, struct self star ptr. That's it. So along with other members in the sense like it has integer member, it has a character member, it can have other pointer members, whatever. It contains an additional entry which may be one or more. One in this case there is one pointer ptr which is pointing to the same structure. So it is a pointer which is it contains a pointer which is pointing to self. That is what self-referential structures are. Let's take an example. Here we have created a structure which contains two variables, two members, an integer member and a character member, and there is a pointer which is pointing to the same structure, struct codes. This should be converted as code. This is struct code star ptr. Now if I create a member out of it, sorry, a variable out of this custom structure, so I can create it like this, struct code var1. Now I can access these pointers, sorry, these members of this structure as var1 dot I equal to an integer value, var1 dot j is a character data type, so I declare it as, sorry, I define it as a character a, and there is a pointer ptr which need to be set at this time, so we'll set it as a null pointer. It's pointing to the, or it's not pointing anywhere. It can point to the definition is that it can point to a structure of this same type. It can point to a structure code, struct code. So this is how the structure will look like. It creates a variable var1 in memory, which is of this my custom type, which is of this type struct code type. It has an integer member, it has a character member, and it has a pointer member which can point to the same type structure. So character, in the integer position it is stored as 65, in this case it is stored as 1, and the character it is stored as a, then a pointer it is stored as null. Let's create one more variable var2. This is how we created struct code star var2. So we create a new variable var2. Then we assign var2 dot I equal to 66, var2 dot j is equal to b, and var2 dot pointer is equal to null. The same assignment. So in memory, please note that this should be, by mistake I have written as self. This should be written as code. Then only I can say that this is a pointer to this same structure. So in memory it will be like this. It contains, now it created another variable var2. It has these values. So we have initialized this var2 with these values. So var2 contains uh, b and null, 2 b and null. This is from a some memory location thousand. Let's say where one is at some memory location 1000 and where two is at some memory location 2000. It can take 2 bytes for storing this integer. It can take 1 byte for storing this character, and for storing pointer maybe 4 bytes. So it will be having some number of bytes. But let's say let's say that it is at this memory location, and the second one is at the second memory location is 2000. So in memory it will look like this. In memory it has two variables var1 and var2. Var1 and var2 are of my custom data type, that is it's of type code. It contains three members. First member is an integer, second member is a character, third member is a pointer to the self. So it is a self-referential structure. Now let's say I have assigned var1 dot ptr equal to ampersand var2. What does that mean? Previously, var1 dot ptr was pointing to null pointer, which means that it's not pointing to anywhere. Now I have changed this var1 dot ptr. Var1 dot ptr can hold the address of this type of variable. So var2 is struct code type. Its address is taken. Its address is taken by this ampersand. So var1 dot ptr equal to ampersand var2. It means that the address of var2 is loaded in the location var1 dot ptr. Previously you have seen that the address of var2 is 2000. So it means that instead of this null pointer, now if you see the visualization, it will be storing 2000 here. So var1 dot ptr equal to ampersand var2. The visualization, it should look like this. It has integer, then character, then instead of this null pointer, var1 contains now the address of the second variable of the same type. So what it means is that now it is something, it is like from here I can access the second variable, because I have the address of the second variable in my first variable. So that is the meaning to it. I can access the second variable through the first variable. So that is what it means. So it will be something like this. It will be something like I have a pointer from first variable to second variable. I have already stored where exactly my second variable is located in my first variable. So it is something like a link from first variable to the second variable. So by using self-referential structures, I can create a chain of this type of variables, so that I can access second variable from the first variable, third variable from the second variable, and so on. So in this case, what we have done is we have created two variables of the type code, and in the first variable's address, we have loaded it with the second variable's location. So second variable was starting at a memory location 2000 in our memory. So that memory location is added as the address at the first variable. Then it looks like, or it is more of like a kind of a link from the first variable to the second variable. Means that we can access the second variable from the first variable. Let's see how we can access it. So the first variable, see, this was the assignment statement. Now we can access the second variables I and j like this. Var1 dot ptr, var1 dot ptr will give you, we are at the variable 1, var1 dot ptr. It's a pointer, then arrow operator I. Var1 dot ptr arrow I means you are accessing the second variables I, and var1 dot ptr pointer j or arrow j means you are accessing the second variables j. So using my first variable, if you would like to access the first variable's I value, it is just var1 dot I. If to access the second variable's I value, integer value, var1 dot ptr arrow I. So that's how you access the second variable from the first variable. The output of this program will be like this. It should print 66 and b. It is the values loaded in the second variable. Second variable has I equal to 66 and j equal to b. So it should print the second variables. First variable's value will be printed if it is var1 dot I and var1 dot j. If through this pointer var1 dot ptr, if you are trying to access, you can access the second variable. Why? Because in the first variable's ptr address, we have stored the address of the second variable. So once if you have a pointer to a variable or a structure like this, you can access its operators by using arrow operator. So you are given with a pointer to this is this pointer to the var2, and once if you have obtained this pointer, then you ask ptr arrow I, ptr arrow j, you will get the variable store. The next is an activity for you. You have to submit this activity in Google Classroom. You are supposed to create a structure of the same type. You create a structure with some members, integer member or character member. Then you create two self-referential pointers. One denotes a left pointer and the second one denotes a right pointer. So it will be something like struct code star left and struct code star right. Then you create some three variables. Create three variables: variable 1, variable 2, and variable 3, and try to create a ring like structure which is having some three variables. A ring like structure where from any variable you should be able to access any other variable. That's my intention. So you have three variables, you and you have two pointers, one pointing to the left node and the one pointing to the right node. So you should be able to access any variable from any other variable. That's the idea. So you write it as a program and try to execute it. You submit the structure as a written diagram in the PDF format. Now let's see how self-referential structures are useful. We will see the usefulness of self-referential structures in many places in the different data structures which we are going to discuss in the next few classes. Like we'll be talking about a linked list. It's just a list of structures, just like what we have seen in the previous example. This may be treated as a linked list. Here we have one entry, then one more entry, you can have one more entry. So it's a list of items linked together, so that from the first entry you can go till the last entry. So it will be similar kind of representation like an array. You can traverse through this the elements in the array, but the thing is that you can dynamically create these members. Whenever you require a new member, you create a particular structure and add the entries. If you don't require that entry, you can remove that. It's more of a dynamic allocation of memory. We'll be talking about dynamic memory allocation. Somebody was telling that dynamic memory allocation was not clear in while this in for your from our previous discussion. So we'll discuss dynamic memory allocation in detail in the next class. Then we'll be talking about doubly linked list. We'll be talking about circular linked list. Then so our the activity which I have told just now maybe uh, treated as a circular linked list. Then we'll be talking about tree data structure, etc. In all these cases, you can see that we'll be going to utilize self-referential structures. So that's all about self-referential structures. Thank you.